Tonight, brace for false alarm?
Well, I think it probably could have led to some confusion.
Why you may have received emergency alerts for severe weather when the threat was miles away. Also tonight, Winnipeg police arrest one of their own.
This is not a proud moment for our service.
How the force plans to restore public confidence as an officer faces charges for years of alleged criminality. Plus,
so I think nurses are just done. We're tired of waiting.
Why Manitoba nurses are considering grey-listing Health Sciences Centre and what the designation would mean.
CTV News. Live from downtown Winnipeg with Marilee Caruso.
An emergency alert or a false alarm? Good evening. Thanks for joining us. A severe storm brought hail and funnel clouds to areas outside Winnipeg yesterday. But here in the city, many of us received emergency alerts on our phones and TVs warning of a tornado, even though there was no tornado watch or warning in effect for Winnipeg. Standing by to explain tonight is CTV's Danton Unger. So Danton, why did so many of us get these alerts here in Winnipeg?
Well, it's all due to the way Environment Canada sends out these alerts. It's based on the cell tower that services your phone and not your actual location. But this means you could get alerts even though you aren't in a threatened area. Even here in the CTV newsroom, which is in downtown Winnipeg, several of us got multiple emergency alerts warning of a possible tornado. One woman I spoke with worries if this continues, people will just start to ignore them. As a funnel cloud formed over Dugald, Manitoba Wednesday evening, Joy Hibbert was getting multiple emergency alerts in Winnipeg.
Both on my personal phone, my work phone, and then I was at home, so I was seeing them on the TV as well.
But this confused her because as far as she could tell, Winnipeg wasn't under any tornado watches or warnings at the time.
I can only imagine, some people who are maybe vulnerable or less tech savvy having the ability to check their area. So I think it probably was confusing for most people.
Like Hibbert, many Winnipeggers received emergency alerts Wednesday, like this one that popped up on an iPhone in downtown. Tornado in this mobile coverage area. The alert reads, take immediate cover in a basement or an interior room if weather threat approaches.
I was literally on my way home from work and driving past City of Winnipeg. Obviously, I'm getting these alerts on my phone with the tornado warnings.
For Brian Penner, the emergency alert that popped up on his phone was very real.
Probably about a mile ahead of me, there was debris spinning as it crossed the road.
Crawford Luke with Environment Canada says these alerts are sent based on cell tower locations.
Not only are all the cell phone towers in that area triggered when a tornado warning goes out, but any other cell tower around that area that has any part of its coverage in that community.
Meaning users in Winnipeg could get these alerts meant for areas outside the city. Luke says Environment Canada is working to modernize its warning dissemination in the coming years.
That'll, hopefully help further cut back the amount of sort of perceived false alarms that are going out.
But until then, Hibbert worries the next time these alerts go out, some may not take it seriously.
I think people may have a tendency to kind of brush it off a little bit.
Now, Luke says if you do receive an emergency alert, you should take it seriously, check your surroundings, and take action if needed.
All right, Danton, do we know if any tornadoes were actually confirmed yesterday?
Environment Canada says so far no tornadoes have been confirmed, just lots of reports of funnel clouds, but the investigation into the storm yesterday is still ongoing.
All right, thanks for this, Danton. The province is extending its state of emergency as 14,000 people remain out of their homes tonight due to intense wildfires. Officials declared the state of emergency last month for the second time since May. It was set to expire Friday. The extension keeps it in place for 2 more weeks. The province says this is the worst fire season in 30 years, and more than 15,500 square kilometers have now burned. Weather conditions and some rainfall have given crews a bit of a reprieve, but there's also the risk of new starts from lightning. There are now 159 active wildfires burning across Manitoba. A lot of that smoke hanging over Winnipeg tonight. Colleen Brady joins us now with a look at your Skywatch evening forecast. Air quality once again a concern.
It is terrible in Winnipeg, and you can imagine how much worse it is in northern Manitoba. So from the storms last night to the smoke today over Winnipeg and much of southern Manitoba, I want to show you what the smoke looks like just hanging over Winnipeg right now. This is one of our cameras just showing downtown Winnipeg blanketed in that smoke. So as you can imagine, air quality is very poor. Let's check in with Environment and Climate Change Canada's Air Quality Health Index. It's at a 10+, as you can see, which puts the city at very high risk for poor air quality, and it's been sitting at a 10+ since 11 o'clock this morning. So no surprise that Winnipeg is under an air quality warning tonight, along with areas including Brandon and all those areas further north, well into northern Manitoba and east into northwestern Ontario, as well as some special air quality statements there as well. Coming up, I'll show you how long that smoke is expected to last here in Winnipeg and where it's expected to head to next. Let's take a look right now, though, first through the Bathfitter Live Eye. Bathfitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. And in that smoke, it is 27 degrees out there. It feels like 33 with the humidex. Light winds from the northwest. The pressure is dropping and the humidity right now, Marilee, is 62%.
Thanks, Colleen. A veteran Winnipeg police officer is facing more serious charges stemming from a 2024 police investigation. Some of the alleged incidents date back to 2016. And a warning, some of the details may be upsetting.
This is not a proud moment for our service. But having said that, the only reason we're here today is because a member of our service had the integrity to come forward with concerns.
Police say 48-year-old Elston Bostock, a 22-year member of the Winnipeg Police Service, was rearrested Wednesday. A list of the charges he's facing is up on your screen. Police say indignity to human remains and knowingly distributing an intimate image are related to the same alleged incident where Bostock is accused of taking a photo of a deceased semi-nude woman in 2021 and sending it to someone. In a separate incident, he and another officer are accused of going into someone's home while on duty and attempting to evict them under threat of arrest. Other charges against Bostock relate to alleged incidents such as drug trafficking, both on and off duty, stealing ammunition during firearm training, and attempting to have traffic tickets voided. At an afternoon media conference, Chief Gene Bowers emphasized the work the police brass are doing to regain the public's trust.
I directed each of my senior members to meet personally with all their members to reaffirm the integrity within which we must continue to do our jobs. As well, I will be adding another 3 investigators to our professional standards unit to ensure all allegations are investigated thoroughly. Yesterday, I sent a letter to the Justice Minister, Matt Wiebe, asking that the new Police Services Act establish a uniform code of conduct for all police officers in Manitoba.
Bostock was previously charged with breach of trust and theft along with 2 other officers in November of last year. CT News has reached out to Bostock's lawyer for comment. We are still waiting to hear back. RCMP are looking for a man wanted in a child abduction. Mounties were called to a home on Lake St. Martin First Nation Friday night. They were told a man entered a home with a homemade weapon and took 2 children. Police found a 1-year-old sleeping safely in the home, but a 2-year-old was missing. The child was found at a nearby residence, but the armed man was gone. An arrest warrant has been issued for Alan Marsden. The 29-year-old from Lake St. Martin First Nation is charged with child abduction, assault with a weapon, and break and enter. Anyone who may have information is asked to contact RCMP or Crime Stoppers. Winnipeg's Millennium Library is closed following a man's death Wednesday. A sign posted at the downtown library says it's closed until further notice, but the city's website says it's expected to reopen Saturday. There was a heavy police presence at the building last night. Police say a man was found with significant injuries and his death is not considered suspicious. The Manitoba Nurses Union says Health Sciences Centre is an unsafe place to work, and it's moving to grey-list the health facility as a warning to the public and to any nurses who may be considering working there.
This is simply a way of letting nurses and the public know that HSC does not provide a safe environment.
The move comes after a series of sexual assaults in July inside and near HSC. Several nurses and members of the public were assaulted by an individual police later arrested. The MNU says HSC management failed to inform staff of the incidents while the suspect was still at large.
No one knew where the perpetrator was, whether they were still in the building or whether they had left the building. And, you know, that was the big issue. But the fact that it was also downplayed, it was clearly a sexual assault that was downplayed and called, you know, inappropriate touching or groping. You know what? Call it what it is and stop downplaying this.
MNU President Darlene Jackson says this is just the latest in a series of examples which have taken place over the last 5 years. The vote on whether to graylist HSC ends tomorrow. CTV News contacted Shared Health about the vote, and we received this email response, quote, Shared Health and the Manitoba Nurses Union are working collaboratively to identify solutions that address safety concerns while meeting the needs of staff, patients, and the broader community. Our shared goal is to ensure the highest standard of safety and care for everyone. The family of a First Nations woman who died at the hands of a Winnipeg serial killer will have a chance to give victim impact statements to court 1 year after his conviction. The Manitoba Court of King's Bench has agreed to a Crown request for a special hearing for victim and community impact statements for 30-year-old Ashley Shingoose. Shingoose was one of 4 women killed by Jeremy Skibitsky in 2022. However, she was not identified until much later and was referred to as Buffalo Woman. The court says the hearing is appropriate and necessary to give her family the same opportunity as relatives of the other victims. It adds the trial is finished and nothing will impact Skibitsky's legal standing. The court says it can't order Skibitsky to attend, but his lawyers will be there. It's scheduled for August 15th. Winnipeg has become the first Canadian city to have a zero-emission articulated bus as part of its transit fleet. The city showed off the new 60-foot bus today at its Winnipeg Transit Fort Rouge garage. It's the first of 16 zero-emission buses and will go into service next week. The buses are built by New Flyer and cost about twice as much as diesel buses. The federal, provincial, and city governments are all sharing the cost. But that cost-sharing program has ended, so after this order is complete, Winnipeg will go back to ordering diesel buses.
If the federal government would come out with another or something similar program, or the province of Manitoba, let's say, comes out with another transit program specific to purchasing and helping the city to purchase zero-emission buses, then we would certainly look into that and continue that.
The city ordered a combination of battery electric buses and fuel cell battery electric buses. A second order of zero-emission buses is expected to arrive early next year. Winnipeg's mayor wants to clean up downtown. A contract has now been awarded to install new tamper-proof garbage and recycling receptacles. 85 new waste receptacles will replace the current trash cans. They'll be placed throughout downtown Winnipeg. The containers will be tamper-proof, so you can throw your trash in, but you can't take anything out. Mayor Scott Gillingham says the design will help keep trash off city streets, but he adds we all have a part to play in keeping the city clean.
I think the way our city looks really has a big impact on the way we feel about ourselves. So I encourage everybody, every property owner, whether it's a private property owner, the city of Winnipeg, the federal government, whoever it may be, I ask you to take care of your property, to clean up. If there's garbage on the sidewalk in front of your place, don't wait for someone else to pick it up. Please just take a broom and sweep it up. And the city has to lead the way in doing our part.
Gillingham says the new garbage and recycling receptacles will be installed in the coming months. Our tour around the globe, courtesy of Folklorama, tonight takes you to the Asia-Pacific region and a country made up of thousands of islands. CTV's John Hendricks joins us now from the Philippine Pavilion. John, how are things going over there?
They're going great, Marilee. As you can see, I've been helping myself out, getting a new jacket. This is a representation of the Philippine flag as a coat. I think it's pretty awesome. Right now, there's something else that's going on that's pretty awesome. It's called tinikling. I think that's close enough to what it's called.
You did a perfect job, John. Yeah.
I nailed it. Nailed it. And speaking of nailing something, your feet could really get hurt here if you don't do this correct. I'm joined now by Nathan. Maybe you could tell me a little bit about tinikling.
Yeah, absolutely. Tinikling is a very popular dance in the Philippines. It's widely believed to be the national dance. However, that's a little bit of a misdirection. However, it is so popular. sure that every pavilion that you see is going to feature it if it's a Philippine pavilion.
It reminds me a little bit of like skipping, jumping rope, that kind of thing.
Yeah, actually, the history of tinikling is supposed to represent the catching, trapping of a tickling bird. So the idea is that the dancers mimic the bird and try not to get trapped.
Do you think it would be too hard for me to do something like this with no training?
Absolutely not. Our clappers are pros. They can slow it down, speed it up for us, just like always. You want to give it a try?
Yeah, let's give it a try. Why not?
Okay, absolutely. Okay, so I'll give you a few pointers here. So we're going to count ourselves in. We're going to do it like we test the waters. So we'll go dip, dip, up, heel toe, up, heel toe, up. And on the third one, we're going to go in as a 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. You don't have to be shy. 3, 1, 2, 3. Come back over.
I love it.
Like we do here in the Mabuhay Pavilion, we're going to keep our hands on our hips.
I am holding a microphone, but we'll do our best.
Hand on hip.
You got it.
Okay, fantastic. Ready, clappers? Heel toe up, 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 heel toe up. 1.
Oh, right away, he knocks it over. That has to be some kind of a new record.
You know what? I actually have never seen that before until now.
A first, ladies and gentlemen. I'm breaking records here at the Mabuhay Pavilion. Let's try it one more time.
Absolutely,
who knows? Maybe I can get it this time.
Ready, clappers?
Here we go.
And wait for the fourth one. Heel toe up, heel toe up, heel toe up.
See, and I jump right over it, and you don't get hit. That, I think, is the key, Marilee.
John,
all right, we're going to try
you
this
keep
one more
practicing.
time. I'm going to be here for a while.
What our viewers don't know is you're an excellent hula hooper, so I'm sure this can translate. You just work at it.
I'll go with you.
I just need maybe 5 or 6 hours, and I think I should be able to get this. We'll see if I still have any ankles when we come back in a few minutes.
Good luck, John. Good luck.
All right, thanks.
All right, I can't wait to check back in with him in a bit. But first, we got to take a quick break. Coming up, though, protests in Israel grow louder.
Out of Gaza, we want our hostages out, we want our soldiers out.
The latest as Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu considers a serious military ramp-up in Gaza. Plus, how the trade dispute with the U.S. is going to impact Americans and your back-to-school shopping. More when we return. Home prices in the Winnipeg region continued their upward trend in July, according to the latest report from the Winnipeg Regional Real Estate Board. The average price for a detached home was up 8% year over year to more than $457,000. Prices rose faster in 2 regions, Borden-Winkler and Gimli, up 9% and 12% respectively. Turning to the markets now, crude oil is down 47 cents. The Canadian dollar is nearly unchanged at 72.7 cents U.S. Gold added $20. The TSX lost 159 points. The Dow Jones fell 224 points, while the Nasdaq added 73 points. Manitoba cattle producers are facing some uncertainty as ongoing drought conditions are making it more challenging to feed and water their animals. The province's latest crop report shows precipitation levels across nearly the entire province are well below the 30-year average. Even less moisture has fallen in the Northwest and Interlake regions, with places such as Fisher Branch receiving just a quarter of the usual rainfall. As a result, some livestock producers are already feeding their animals since there isn't enough forage in the pasture and lining up supplemental feed for winter. Manitoba beef producers say simply getting enough water for cattle is challenging.
Big expense. Many folks are either having to haul water or they're looking at other options to be able to develop new water sources, whether that's digging a well or digging out their dugouts that they currently operate on deeper. Piping in water, many different options that producers will look at.
General Manager Cam Carson says the silver lining is there is feed out there for producers to buy, unlike in 2021, which followed several consecutive years of drought. Donald Trump is bragging today about the billions of dollars a month that will flow into U.S. coffers as more than 60 countries feel the pain of today's latest round of reciprocal tariffs. We're already seeing backlash, with countries pushing back and moving away from trade with the United States. CTV's Mike LeCouture has the latest on the impact on both sides of the border.
The yes, we're having discussions with the Americans.
Prime Minister Carney wouldn't say when he'll next speak to U.S. President Donald Trump, but Ontario's premier didn't mince words when asked about how Canadians see the American leader.
He's probably the most disliked politician in the world in Canada.
In an interview on CNN, Doug Ford tried to explain to Americans that these tariffs are hurting them.
When you see 37,000 Americans have lost their jobs, that can't pay the rent or can't pay a mortgage, put food on their table, and this is just going to grow even more.
A new report from Yale University shows the current tariffs will hit American consumers.
We're expecting an adjustment of about over $2,000 to, their real household income and sort of purchasing power.
The impact could be felt in back-to-school shopping, as the tariffs will make shoes 40% more expensive, and the price of other clothes will rise by 38% because of import duties. Meantime, the impact on Canada's economy is being measured by the Royal Bank. In June, 92% of Canadian exports crossed into the U.S. duty-free because they are covered under the current trade agreement, leaving 8% subject to punishing tariffs.
That portion of trade is unfortunately facing an average tariff rate of 30%.
Still, the overall impact on the Canadian economy is relatively small at this point, but sectors like steel and aluminum continue to suffer. While campaigning ahead of his by-election in Alberta, Pierre Poilievre criticized Carney's handling of the trade talks.
He's been bending over backwards for the president and so far has gotten nothing in return.
Now, Prime Minister Carney continues to say he will speak to the U.S. president when it makes sense, but there is no clear indication of exactly when that could be. Mike Lecouteur, CTV News, Ottawa.
And citing Donald Trump's tariffs, auto giant Toyota is predicting a huge hit to profits, the biggest the industry has seen. The Japanese automaker expects a loss of nearly $14 billion on cars imported into the U.S. Toyota also cut its expected full-year operating profit by 16%. Industry rival GM projects a tariff loss of $5 to $7 billion, while Ford expects to take a $4 billion hit. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is meeting with his security cabinet today as he considers plans to occupy the Gaza Strip. Ceasefire talks between Israel and Hamas broke down last month, and the humanitarian crisis is growing in Gaza, with nearly 200 people dying of famine and malnutrition since the war began, according to the Hamas-run health industry. Rena Roy has the latest.
Large demonstrations erupting in Jerusalem outside the building where Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met with his security cabinet today to discuss expanding the military operation in Gaza, according to an Israeli official. Some families of the hostages still being held by Hamas speaking out against the plan.
We don't want to see that. We want our people out of Gaza. We want our hostages out. We want our soldiers out. And we don't want any potential settlers in.
According to the UN, there are currently close to 2 million Palestinians who are living in Gaza and facing a growing humanitarian crisis with an extreme lack of food and relentless strikes from Israel. This woman saying, "We've heard that they want to occupy Gaza. What is left to occupy?" Netanyahu saying after taking control of Gaza temporarily, they'd hand it over to another governing body in an interview with Fox News.
We don't want to keep it. We want to have a security perimeter. We don't want to govern it. We don't want to be there as a governing body. We want to hand it over to Arab forces that will govern it properly without threatening us and giving Gazans a good life. That's not possible with Hamas.
Hamas calling Netanyahu a war criminal, saying what he's planning is a continuation of the policy of genocide and forced displacement. Aerial images show the scale of destruction in Gaza. This morning alone, more than 24 Palestinians killed in an Israeli strike, according to the Hamas-run Gaza Health Ministry. And haunting images show malnourished children, crowds of Palestinians gathering with pots and plastic containers, hoping to collect soup from a charity kitchen. This young girl crying as she waits. Israel began allowing aid back into Gaza in May, but humanitarian organizations say whatever is going in right now is far from enough. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
The Kremlin says Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump have agreed to meet in the coming days. It comes on the eve of Trump's deadline for Russia to agree to a ceasefire in Ukraine. U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff met with the Russian president yesterday. Trump has said he plans to meet with both his Russian and Ukrainian counterparts to end the war in Ukraine. Now to a remarkable sight off the coast of British Columbia. Check this out. Whale watchers didn't even have to leave the dock to get a great view of a group of orcas putting on a show for hundreds of visitors in Victoria Harbor. The killer whales were in the area for about 20 minutes. Experts say it was a family, also known as the Runaways, and it was with its youngest calf at the time.
I'm John Hendricks at the Mabuhay Philippine Pavilion, and as you can see, there is a big crowd waiting to see the show at this pavilion. Well, you won't have to wait long. We've got a preview for you coming up right after this.
And the weekend kicks off the long-range forecast for Winnipeg. Both days a mix of sun and cloud, and both days, Saturday and Sunday, highs right around 24 degrees. Saturday, there is a low chance of showers with a thunderstorm risk, but the chance is low at this point. Then we heat up next week. Monday, Tuesday, a mix of sun and cloud. Hot highs at 27 degrees, 25 degrees on Wednesday.
Have a news tip? When you see news happening, let CTV News Winnipeg know. Text your tips, pictures, and videos to 10400. That's 10400. Message and data rates may apply. The Folklorama fun continues all across our city tonight, and we are going to check back in with CTV's John Hendricks, who's down at the Philippine Pavilion. Hopefully your ankles survived?
Well, sort of. I'm joined now by the Tinickling pole, the bane of my existence. Take a close look at this, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm going to be setting it on fire later because I'm never going to recover. Let's just put it that way. I'm in a lot of pain now. I'm going to put it down. And this is the last time I will ever touch this again. It was very tough. It was very tough. It was unfair. I don't know. I'm assuming that somehow it was rigged, and I don't know how, but it was somehow rigged. Nathan is joining us now, and thank goodness that is not the only thing at this pavilion. There's some pretty spectacular dancing that also happens.
Yes, so we're going to get them started in just a second. What you guys are going to be seeing is a little preview of a dance we call binasuan. It really just means to dance with balancing glasses. We're going to see 3 spectacular, super talented women that I had the honor of teaching, choreographing, in order to see how they balance 3 glasses, 2 in the hand and 1 on the head.
Well, let's see it. Let's see it right now.
Absolutely, yeah. We can get that started. We're starting at 6:42. No. We're going to get that started. Yep. Okay, guys, come out. Just come out.
All right. So talk to me a little bit about what this dance is all about.
Yes. So like I said, it's about balancing glasses. Something that you typically don't see from binasuan is actually the fact that they put the glass on their head. So something that we've done at the Mabuhay Pavilion is show you that they're actually balancing everything naturally.
This looks like it is incredibly, requires a lot of skill.
Absolutely. So inside the glasses are usually filled with, traditionally or historically, it's like rice wine or some sort of liquid. We like to use something with food coloring so you can actually tell there's actually something in the glasses. Right now, it's just a demo.
Yeah, exactly. Now, what happens if they were to drop it?
Well, then glass would break, simply as glasses go, right?
I take it that rarely happens, though, with people who are experienced like these young ladies.
Well, we'll see. See if I taught them well.
It's really a spectacular thing, though, to see people who are able to do this kind of thing.
Absolutely. Most of our dancers are really young, ranging from 4 years old even up to, we actually don't discriminate at all, so they go up to 60 years old.
Even a 10-year-old can do this?
Absolutely, a 10-year-old can do this.
Well, Marilee, if apparently even a 10-year-old can do this, so over the next little bit, I think I am going to try to learn how to put one of these glasses on my head without it falling. Based on what happened with the Tinickling, I'm not terribly optimistic, but I'm going to give it a try anyway.
I think this one might be just the one for you, John.
That's my sport, right? The Tinickling, not so much, but that, absolutely.
The glasses is it. All right, looking forward to it, John.
That's where, all right.
CTV Skywatch weather brought to you by South Beach Casino and Resort. Visit southbeachcasino.ca.
If John can master this dance of glasses. I think he could come in really handy at lunchtime. He could serve us all, Colleen.
I sure hope so. I can't wait to see that. We should really just dedicate the rest of this newscast to John and getting that just right, because it's going to be something to behold, folks. But in the meantime, we have severe thunderstorms that have now returned to southern Manitoba for areas right along the border. So let me show you. We have severe thunderstorm watches now in effect from Melita through to Winkler. And this has actually just changed in the last few seconds. We had a severe thunderstorm closer to Cartwright. That's now been downgraded to a non-severe thunderstorm. But this area right here, right around Winkler, there's this storm that has just been elevated to severe status. So the RM of Stanley, which encompasses Winkler, this storm has now become severe. But if you are in that Cartwright area, this was a severe storm until just about maybe 1 minute ago. And there's more to come. There's storms coming in from Saskatchewan, but also under that watch, Environment Canada says thunderstorms are expected to develop tonight in North Dakota that will travel north. And the biggest threats with these storms, should they become severe, are golf ball sized hail and some very strong winds that could top 100 kilometers an hour. Back to the smoke. Now I want to show you firesmoke.ca. This is a very good map showing how the smoke is just swirling around Manitoba, and you can see just how bad it is for central and northern parts of the province. Down here in the south, as we all know here in Winnipeg, the smoke returned. Now this is operating on a loop. Now where you see it starts to clear up in just a moment, that is when it's expected to move back out of Winnipeg. That will be late tomorrow night, and the expectation is that the smoke is unfortunately going to move back up into northern Manitoba, where they have it so much worse than we have it down here in the south, and it's already bad enough. So until then, we do have that air quality warning that continues for much of the province, including as far south as Winnipeg and Brandon, right up as far north as Thompson, and a little bit further than that. We have some showers tonight also up in the northeast part of the province, and then back down Kitty Corner in the southwest. We're keeping our eyes peeled on this advancing line of storms. So this is what I mean. Late tonight and overnight, we'll start to see those storms spread further to the southeast and into places like Winnipeg. There's a good chance of it, and you can see possibly some pretty substantial rain taking us into tomorrow morning, when showers are expected to continue in the south. We could get a break here and there during the day, but we could see another round of rain return to Winnipeg in the southeast by tomorrow afternoon, but also up in west central areas by late tomorrow night as well. More rain continuing there, but the thing is, it will be moving further into northern Manitoba on Saturday, right where we need that rain to fall. For tonight, again, showers and thunderstorms expected late tonight. Still smoky, a low of 19 degrees, light winds from the southeast. Light south winds tomorrow with more showers, possibly thunderstorms expected, up to 26 degrees. And again, it could be dry during the midday before we could see showers resume. Speaking of which, showers expected tonight across the northeast, potentially even thunderstorms, including in Thompson, down to 15 there. Tomorrow, 23 in Thompson, and cloudy. Smoky across the northwest tonight. There is the possibility of some rain showers through Flin Flon, OCN, and the Paw. Showers tomorrow for Norway House. Temperatures getting into the mid-20s tomorrow. Clearing tonight after some showers expected to go through, and then tomorrow we may see some showers in the southwest with temperatures up to 27 degrees. Winnipeg in the southeast tonight, it's all right for now, but we could see showers develop overnight, and then into tomorrow we may see some showers too, but a bit of a break at times during the day. And into northwestern Ontario, showers tonight, and then tomorrow sunshine or a mix of sun and cloud with some pretty hot highs there as well. To our weather photos, look at this stunning shot. This was actually taken here in Winnipeg yesterday afternoon. This is from Cindy from her vantage point at Kimberly Hill in Winnipeg, up in the Valley Gardens area. Just a sensational photo. And this is a look at the smoke over downtown Winnipeg this morning from Kat's perspective looking south. Send us your photos, rather, to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
Well, all that staring may not only be bad for your attention span, but also for your heart, especially for one age group. We will have more about that next in Medical Watch. Advanced voting begins tomorrow in an Alberta by-election, making history for the most candidates ever on a ballot in Canada. More than 200 people are running in the Battle River Crowfoot riding, the majority sponsored by the Longest Ballot Protest Committee, a group which first made history back in April for what was at that time the longest ballot. It had 91 names on it. This is what it looked like. It had 2 columns of candidates and was nearly a meter long. Faced with a ballot more than double this size in the upcoming Alberta by-election, Elections Canada is instead giving voters an adapted ballot, and that is raising Democratic concerns. Joining me now to weigh in on whether those concerns are valid is Duff Conacher, co-founder of Democracy Watch. Duff, good to speak with you.
Thank you. Good to speak with you as well.
Pierre Poilievre, who was on that 91 name ballot back in April, is also on this 200+ ballot and is calling the actions of this protest group a scam and an abuse of power. I'm curious where you stand on this. Do you agree with those statements?
No, it's not a scam. It's not an abuse of power. I think it is the wrong tactic for several reasons. And I think there are problems. Democracy Watch's position and the position of many other groups and commentators is that our voting system needs to change to be more fair and count everyone's vote equally in terms of the number of MPs that are elected for each party. But this is the wrong tactic. It's actually, I think, taking steps backwards in that campaign and movement for voting system reform.
We showed viewers that 91 ballot. It's quite shocking to see. It's very large, not what most of us are used to. Does a long ballot make voting more difficult and call into question the integrity of the vote at all?
It doesn't call into question the integrity of the vote, but again, I think it's the wrong tactic because it is sending that message that, hey, we want voting system reform as this group that's advocating and doing this, but hey, what it seems to be, if you don't know much about it, is that voting system reform would make voting more difficult. Well, that's not a message you want to send to people if you want them to support voting system reform. They've also done it twice in a riding where Pierre Poilievre is running, so that kind of taints the effort with partisanship and would turn off a lot of Conservatives. And again, you don't want to turn off people if you're trying to win a change. And as well, they're getting calls from for reforms from the Conservatives and others that would raise the barriers to running as a candidate. Well, that's a step backwards in democracy to raise barriers to people running as candidates. That will favor the major parties, the Conservatives, the Liberals, NDP and the Bloc in Quebec, and go against others who may want to run from smaller parties. And then they've also essentially pushed Elections Canada to change the voting system for this by-election to get around this huge ballot. And that's probably not something they wanted either. So in all those ways, it's the wrong tactic. It's a step backwards in terms of trying to grow support for voting system reform. It's making voting more difficult. And there are better tactics, which other groups have been pushing for years and moving things forward.
Let's talk about this adapted ballot because, faced with the logistics of a 200+ name ballot, Elections Canada is instead offering voters a ballot without any names. Voters will instead have to write the name of their candidate on this adapted ballot. Does this at all impede democracy?
It is a reasonable response, I think, from Elections Canada. But it will make voting more difficult because you'll have to spell the candidate's name correctly, or otherwise the scrutineers from each of the parties that are running may argue that that should be an invalid ballot. You can't write in the party's name, which is easier to remember than a candidate's name, and spell correctly. So this is, again, why the tactic is, I think, wrong-headed, because they've pushed Elections Canada into a corner. Elections Canada responded reasonably, and that's going to make voting more difficult for people. That's any tactic that ends up with that as the result is a wrong-headed tactic.
How do we strike a balance where maybe there are some reforms made and we don't, have adapted ballots? Do you see a solution to all these issues?
Yes, and not the solutions that the Conservatives are pushing for. They want a very large increase in the number of signatures you would need in order to run as a candidate. It could increase a bit. It's only 100 signatures now. It could increase a bit, but the Conservatives wanted to increase to 0.5% of the voters in the riding, and that's like 1,500 people in some ridings, which again would favor the main parties a lot, because they have the money and the staff and organizers to go out and get those signatures, and would go against small parties. If you raise the signatures a bit, you say that people can't sign on in support of more than one candidate, and you say that candidates can't use the same financial agent, which a lot of these candidates do. Those three would be reasonable changes that are not going to increase the barrier to running significantly, and we want to leave it wide open to make it easy for people to run. And so those would be reasonable changes, and I think that's what, in the end, the changes that will be made.
Well, Def, I want to thank you for sharing your thoughts with us tonight. It was really great to hear your perspective.
Thank you for your interest.
Canada is at risk of losing its measles elimination status as an outbreak of the virus continues to spread.
So measles elimination is defined by the World Health Organization, and it means that within a certain geographical area, in this case Canada, that there is no sustained transmission of measles over a 12-month period.
Measles had been considered eliminated in Canada as of 1998, meaning there was no sustained measles transmission over 12 consecutive months. But since an outbreak, which started in New Brunswick last year, the country has seen an average of 91 cases annually. So far, measles cases have been reported in every province and territory except Nunavut, Yukon, and Newfoundland and Labrador. Experts say Canada could lose its measles elimination status as early as this fall, and adds public health vaccination efforts must continue. A new study suggests kids and young adults who spend too much time staring at screens have a greater chance of developing cardiovascular diseases. Danish researchers tracked the screen and sleep habits of more than 1,000 10 and 18-year-olds. They found those who spent excessive hours in front of electronic devices were at higher risk for health issues such as high blood pressure and high cholesterol, as well as diabetes and insulin resistance. Their analysis found each additional hour of daily screen time increased the risk of disease.
Medical Watch is brought to you by Manukin Koster Denture Clinic.
Stay tuned. This year's Spirit of Ukraine Pavilion brings you song and dance with a twist. Plus, there's a new way to pick up Jets tickets for the upcoming season. We'll tell you all about it next in Spotlight.
Spotlight, sponsored by the Casinos of Winnipeg, presenting Holly Cole.
Young love, courtship, romance. Now, it might sound like a setup for a movie, but it's exactly what you can expect from this year's Spirit of Ukraine Pavilion at Folklorama. Rather than a collection of performances, organizers this year are going to teach you about Ukrainian courtship and marriage traditions. It's all told in story form through the lens of a young couple. And of course, you can still expect all the captivating dancing and music the Ukrainian people are known for.
We have a couple who meet as children, they're friends. The matchmaker of the village tries to push them together. You see as they get older, the different customs where they try to get them together. And then finally, the young man approaches the girl's family, they approve of the match, and then we cap it all off with the wedding. So it's a wonderful story that encapsulates the entire theme.
And this year's market features a variety of items created by local Ukrainian newcomers. The Spirit of Ukraine Pavilion runs Saturday at Soul Sanctuary on Chevrier Boulevard. Hockey fans, the countdown is on. Single game tickets for the Winnipeg Jets' upcoming season went on sale today at noon. True North Sports and Entertainment is also offering a new way to get tickets with the Jets Passport, which you pay for upfront and then use to pick up discounted tickets throughout the season, along with other bonuses. The homeowner opener is set for October 9th when the Jets take on the Dallas Stars. And your primetime lineup kicks off at 8 with The Rookie, and E-Talk wraps up the night at 10:30, only on CTV.
Women's clothing provided by RW & Company. Salon services provided by Essentique Spa Salon.
Tonight, hometown pride for a breakout star.
This is one of the greatest moments for tennis in Canada.
How the Canadian tennis community is rallying around Victoria Mboko to cap off a magical title run in Montreal. Later on CTV National News.
27, the hottest temperature today. And can you imagine, as hot as that was, the record for this day set in 1949 when it reached 40.6 degrees in Winnipeg. Tonight we drop down to 19. Expectation is maybe some showers or thunderstorms late tonight or overnight and into at least tomorrow morning. 26 is the high. And then we get into the weekend. Mix of sun and cloud both days with with highs of 24 degrees. With Saturday, there is the chance of showers with the risk of a thunderstorm. Mix of sun and clouds Sunday right through to the midweek. 27 on Monday and Tuesday, up to 25 degrees on Wednesday under that mix of sun and cloud. And as warm as that is during the day, those overnight lows still quite warm too, with all those nights through the long range period right around 16, 17 degrees.
Thanks, Colleen. A serial food snatcher has been pestering beachgoers in Connecticut, and a local reporter caught up with the suspect.
Sir, please. Cecil.
The seagull came, flew that way, took the cookie.
I guess that was a no comment from the suspect.
That's
Cecil
right.
the seagull is notorious on the beach for doing just this, swooping down and stealing people's snacks. He'll take anything, cookies, even crab legs, apparently.
Wow.
It's gone so far that the town has had to post warnings telling people to watch their food and their fingers. Cecil?
Fella. Look at him go.
Yeah,
he's smooth and he's fast.
Well, I don't know how.
Well,
look, he knows. He doesn't want to
That's
answer
right.
any questions.
No, that's right. He's out of there.
Who brings crab legs to the beach?
That's another story, isn't it? Interesting. Indeed.
I could see
That's a good
Cecil wanting
question.
those for sure.
Well, yeah.
All right. There's that smoke out there. Stay safe. All right, we'll be back tomorrow. See you then.